Good morning, Your Excellencies, Your Royal Highness, the Emir of Kano, Muhammed Sanusi II, Mr. Chairman, distinguished captains of industry, scholars, discussants, and also distinguished, dignitaries here present. Allow me to stand on existing protocol, and I would like to start by expressing my profound gratitude to the author of the two books, Dr. Munzali Dantata, who happens to be actually my senior in the Faculty of Law, Ahmad Bello University Zaria, and is also my elder brother. We've been discussing actually quite a lot about his thoughts, and he gave me the license to give him some provocative thoughts in terms of regional and continental and global actually, perspectives. I'm glad that at last he has actually produced, the two books that we are launching today. My job as a guest speaker today is to put the Dantata family business model into the context of cross-border trade in West Africa and across the continent of Africa. From the perspective of regional economic integration agenda of ECOWAS, that is Economic Community of West African States, through the ECOWAS protocol on free movement of persons, goods, and services, that has been on for over 20 years, that enable West Africans across the West Africa to, move along with their goods, services, and then capital. And in the last 6 years, the Assembly of Heads of State in Africa decided also to, adopt a similar protocol that will allow free movement of persons, goods, and services and capital among African citizens across, the African countries, and, both cross, border and cross-regional actually trade, and with the essence of creating a one single African market through which there will be, an aggressive promotion of cross-border trade among Africans and between Africans, and then intra and inter, regional and African trade, i.e., trading between and among African citizens and between and among, African member states, rather than trading actually 60-70% with Asia, Europe, and Latin America, while actually most Africans hardly trade between and among themselves. So this is where you have a sharp contrast. My job is to situate the Dantata family business model that lasted for over 100 years, and why they did last that long and still, waxing stronger than ever. So I put it in the context, that the Dantata business model was transformational, and I gave about 5 reasons for that. It was also sustainable business model, and I gave also another 4 or 5 reasons actually for that. And then I drew a lesson, for West African Economic Community of West African State to learn from the Dantata business model, as to how it became transformative and why it was also, sustainable for about 100 years and still waxing stronger than ever. So what I actually emphasize on today in my guest actually speech at Eradua Center, with the blessing of the Dantata family and Dantata Foundation, was to emphasize the following key points: that the Dantata family business was built by our great-grandfather Alhaji Alassane Dantata and expanded by his sons, Alhaji Ahmad Dantata, Sanusi Dantata, and Alhaji Amin Dantata, and that business model was profoundly transformative and sustainable over a century, because It evolved from a pre-colonial trading network into a modern and diversified conglomerate. And in my view, its success in Kano, across Nigeria, and in West African cross-border trade, between Nigeria and Ghana, back actually to Nigeria, and then, to Saudi Arabia, the business model became not only a cross-border trade in West Africa, but also across even the African region into even the Arabian Peninsula. And this business model of the Ndata family offers critical lessons for the West African, economic integration, agenda, that is ECOWAS in West Africa. And it also provides critical lessons to be learned from the business model by the African Continental Free Trade Area, agreement that is just 6 years old at the continental level. So you can see the sharp contrast. The Ndata business model has been in existence for about 100 years, and still waxing stronger. And yet, the African continent as a whole, of 55 actually member states, only woke up 6 years ago to promote, cross-border trade, formally and legally binding, and also supported by a continental legal instrument. The second actually point that I'd like to emphasize is that the following actually factors or reasons were responsible for the Ndata business model being a transformative business model. Number one, it is a business that actually graduated from traditional trading, enterprise to modern enterprise. Late Alhaji Alassane Ndata initially was a caravan merchant. He adapted to the colonial economy by shifting to modern transport and becoming a licensed buying agent for European companies. He was a pioneer in adopting Western business methods and being the first in Kano to use a bank, depositing a vast amount of coins in 1929. This transition transformed the local trade system and integrated Kano's economy into global markets. The second factor of why it was a transformative business model was strategic, geographic, and sectoral expansion of the business. The Ndata business model, business grew from Kano-centric trade in kola nuts and groundnuts to a wide-reaching network across Nigeria and West Africa, particularly, Ghana. And under the late Alhaji Aminu Ndata, the business model, or enterprise diversified into critical sectors like construction, oil and gas, real estate, and banking, moving beyond commodity trading to become a multi-sector trading powerhouse. This expansion helped modernize the Nigerian economy, and it also built intergenerational wealth across, West Africa. The third reason for its transformative business model is that the Ndata business model was a vertical integration, approach. Both late Alhaji Alassane Ndata and his sons, particularly, Alhaji Amadu Ndata, Alhaji Sanusi Ndata, and their youngest son, their youngest brother, Alhaji Aminu Ndata, employed vertical integration to control their supply chains. And this is how they did it. This involved managing everything from raw material acquisition to logistics, which improved efficiency and cut costs. And they also did so by controlling the entire process. They could dominate their market, especially in the groundnut trade, where Alassane famously amassed huge pyramids in Kano. And it is also very important to also emphasize this fourth factor that made the business transformative for over 100 years, and that is it was built on a network-based trust. The business model relied heavily on an extensive network of credit and kinship rather than just formal contracts. This patrimonial system was built on mutual trust and personal relationships, enabling trade to flourish even in regions with underdeveloped formal institutions. This network of business was essential for scaling their cross-border operations across West Africa. And let me quickly also emphasize 4 key factors, contributing to sustainability Yeah. Not yet. Okay.